Well, welcome back everyone to the channel. If you are new here, a big welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. Now we're doing another one of our property abroad chats here with Dad. Yeah. The last one got amazing results, over 115,000 views as we record this one. But with that did crop up a lot of questions, a lot of
issues, points.
Yeah, so we're going to try and address some of those now. We have been doing a little bit of research. If we didn't know the answer, I've been down to the accountants, we've been up to the community office, we've been asking around. Some of the questions that you raised were very good points, things Absolutely. That we missed. I knew we would miss some bits last time. We've even been round to all the estate agents over here. So this applies to mainly Spain, Canary Islands, but you can apply it to Europe as well in general.
Yeah.
Anywhere buying abroad. I will leave the link and I'll pop it up on the screen now. If you haven't seen the first episode or video of this, do go and check that one out first and then come back and watch this one. And you'll know exactly what we're talking about. It's all the issues that aren't raised on all the TV shows that make it all sound amazing.
That we can't name.
But we are going to do quite a few of the pros today as well.
Yeah, we'll go through some of it. I mean, it's not all bad news, guys. It's just, as I say, eyes wide open.
Yeah, and we're also, if you stay tuned in till the end, we're also going to discuss whether it's feasible, whether you think it's a good option to buy property abroad. We're going to talk about yield, how much you can get in returns, renting them out. So we will talk about that in our last topic, so stay tuned in for that. But let's jump right in.
Right. Okay, so jumping right in, as Andrew said, a lot of questions about being able to gift your property, if you own one over here, to your children. And it's a very good point because basically people who buy abroad are going to be, by their very nature, mature. We'll stick with mature. So in your latter years, you're thinking, well, I own this property abroad. I don't really want to be taxed on it, so I'll gift it. I'll give it away to the kids. I'd love to do it with Andrew, Sarah and Catherine, and out of the estate, no tax. I'm afraid the bad news is, if I was to gift Andrew the property he lives in now, there would be capital gains tax of 19%.
Big taxes, yeah.
Big tax, especially big tax, because I bought in the early 90s, late 80s. So those properties have rocketed in price. And there's no escaping that 19% on the difference.
Because it's all on the deeds. How much you paid for it is on your deeds. So they know in the town hall and in the notary office, the tax office, they know exactly what you paid. They know what it's worth now, and you'll be taxed on that if you do choose to gift it.
Not only do they know what it's worth, they just put their own value on it.
Yes.
So say I said to Andrew, hey, son, you can have the property, it's 50 grand. They'll just go, no, it's not. That's not the property price on that particular complex. So there's no escape the inheritance. There is a good news. The inheritance tax, if I die, not for a long time, I hope, mate, and it passes to Lydia and then beyond to the children, it's only 0.01%.
So yeah, basically very little inheritance tax. Yeah. On top of the 19 gifting though, there's also a town hall tax, there's also a council tax on top. So they really don't want you to gift at all, do they?
No, gifting is like, that's not on. But people who are wheeling and dealing in property, they're getting the tax. I mean, if you buy it and keep it in the family for your own use, then that is a negligible tax if I pass it on because I'm dead. But if you're wheeling and dealing, the property price goes up, they want their 19%. Plus a town hall tax.
Yeah, plus all the other fees that go with it, notary, lawyers, all of that shebang that goes on top of that.
It's honestly, I've been to the notary this morning over a small point on a property deed of a property, and it's a place you don't want to visit. It's like a full-on heaving place.
And you can't go and do all this yourself if you think you're quite savvy and you can go and do this notary stuff and save on a lawyer and a translator.
That's not going to happen. I was thankfully with Andrew's accountant's brother is a lawyer. Lovely guy, and without him I couldn't have got anything done.
Yeah, I do work with the best. So they are very, very good. And the other thing that I forgot to mention last time is if you do own a property over here, or if you do get one, make sure you go and make a Spanish will, because if you just think that your UK will or wherever you're from is going to apply to Spain, doesn't always work like that. It does become very complicated as well. So just because you write in your English will, for example, I give the property in Tenerife or Spain to da-da-da-da-da, it doesn't always apply.
No.
It's you're so much better having a will in Spanish, going and getting it done at the notary,
and it's done.
a couple of €100, and you've got it there in Spanish, plain as day, and it makes it far, far easier for whoever it might be inheriting it, because it is, I've seen people get it, it's a nightmare.
And if you have got lots of children, and there's one in particular that's the bad egg in the nest,
you might not be friends. You might not be friends with all your kids or your family anymore.
Let's be honest, we all have them. So a child that you don't particularly get on with, or has done something awful to you,
and you don't
speak anymore, you don't want them to inherit. I'm afraid the bad news: you can't inherit your children in Spain.
No, everyone's included.
Everyone, your children cannot be disinherited unless, I'm told, they try to kill you or starve you to death. You wouldn't do that to me, would you, son?
You're looking good.
They must have found the smallest one in the hanging changing room.
I want to get off! Are you enjoying it?
No! It's horrible! It's that nibbling my head.
No tea for you tonight. So that was all to do with gifting, inheriting, and also getting your Spanish wills. So do make sure you do that. There's various different lawyers and accountants that can get your Spanish will set up. They're not mega expensive. They're pretty simple to do.
No, they're not actually. They're nowhere near as dear as English solicitors and lawyers.
No.
The guy did this morning, it's not going to be mega expensive for his time. He drove me there. He did the whole job for me. You've got to do it.
Now, I did ask, can I let all my viewers know and subscribers know my accountant company, and what he said is he's already got too many clients.
I'm not surprised.
So I'd love to tell you all who we use, but at the moment he did say I'd love to, but at the moment he can't. He just physically can't take on any more businesses.
He's a very, very busy man, and Andrew is very blessed to have him behind it. He's his advice and his knowledge, and his brother's the same.
And he's straight down the line.
You
will find accountants here that like to do things slightly off to the right or slightly off to the left, but he is straight down the line. So
I want a criminal lawyer, not a criminal lawyer.
So next, I will just quickly mention before Dad moves on, he's got some notes here. Location, we had quite a few people commenting. Yes. We used Golf del Ser over here in Tenerife as an example last time, and I did say it was an example. I did say there's downsides to every area. We do like Golf del Ser.
Absolutely.
We still recommend buying in Golf del Ser. So I apologise if I upset anyone, but it was the example that I wanted to use because said TV show had filmed an episode there and not mentioned any downsides.
No.
But there's downsides to every area. Los Cristianos, full of tourists. You've got pickpocketing going on all kinds at the moment. Parking's tricky. Traffic can be busy. There's downsides of every single area.
That's right.
And one very good comment that we had on the last video was, if you can, before you buy a property that you're interested in, or you might be interested in a certain complex, try and go and stay there.
Absolutely.
For a week, a month, couple of weeks. Get a feel of the place. Get a feel of what the parking's like, what your shopping area's like around. If the weather's going to be as consistent as you think.
That is a very good point that I hadn't even thought of. But for example, I'm in a studio here for the week or so. It's €400, something like that, to stay here. For that €400, you will decide if this complex is for you.
Yeah.
Is it pools nice? Is it kept nice? Are the gardens nice?
Is it too noisy?
Are we near to restaurants and bars? Is Cardiac Hill too much for me these days? Because we're walking down's fine and walking back up. He's dead right. Just stay for a week.
If you can, yeah.
And get round the pools and get them chitter-chatter, of who wants one. It is a great idea, that. For the €400, invaluable knowledge.
Yeah, so that was a good recommendation there in the comments. Thank you very much. Now, you've got notes there.
Only to back up what he said there, we didn't mean to offend anyone in Gulf del Sur.
No.
Traffic getting in and out is bad, but it's just as bad as Callio Savaki.
Everything we mentioned was all factual. It's bad getting in and out of lost. Every single area's got the pros and cons. So what you should do really is list those pros and cons and see if the cons are going to bother you enough.
Yeah.
If you really hate traffic and things like that, you might find an area that's quieter where you're not going to get as much traffic. It's weigh up the pros and cons of both. We noticed, going to Callio the other day was quite bad.
Going in wasn't too bad. Coming out.
Never used to be like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Lost Chris is getting quite bad at the moment, especially when the fair comes in.
Carnival's in. Oh boy.
Santa Cruz as well, going back up that way after work time, about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. Traffic up on the motorway.
Yeah. And also, something about location. Check out the bus service.
Yeah.
If you're going to buy somewhere, it's always worth knowing, is there a bus service for a start?
Tenerife's got a very good bus service.
Tenerife's blessed with a fabulous bus service.
Spain in general is pretty good as well with the trains.
Yeah. So that is definitely because if you're in an area and the only way out is on the bus and the bus comes every half a day. Yeah. It's not great, is it?
It's plenty to consider. I would try and list the pros and cons and make sure the pros outweigh the cons and that the cons aren't going to niggle you every time you stay.
Yeah.
Is that most of the location?
I think so. Location. It's everything. It's everything. And I don't think they pay too much attention to that on our TV programmes. Andrew mentioned to me, and I forgot to mention this, you must have a fiscal representative.
Yes. Well, I did mention you can't just go into these places on your own. And you have got to go down the right then. It does cost you, but
it's definitely worth having someone with the knowledge. You hit a problem, they'll sort it out for you.
But again, getting a reputable fiscal representative, because again, someone mentioned this in the comments. Yeah. Beware of dodgy, ropey lawyers, solicitors, estate agents who just want the commission. So try and go with someone reputable. Someone asked me about Tenerife here, who I'd recommend. I would probably definitely stay Los Cristianos Properties. If you ask for Lisa, she's lovely. There's a few in Los Cristianos, they're all very good. But yeah, just check who you're buying through first before you do anything.
Exactly.
Money-wise.
Will they guide you through you picking up your NIE number? Because you're going to need that, and you'll need a Spanish bank account.
A Spanish bank account is one of the first things you're going to have to do, is open up a Spanish bank account, which again costs money. It costs you money to open it up. It costs you normally money to keep it going every month. If you don't have a certain amount in there, they will charge you a monthly fee. Yeah. Again, you're going to have to weigh up which bank is best for you.
That's right.
Banco Sabadell is meant to be fantastic. They're meant to be really good for business. I deal with La Caixa, who are pretty good, and I also deal with BBVA, which are mixed. Again, all depends how much you can keep in your account. Try and get the best deal when you go in to sign up. Some of them you can sign up and just have an online account.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely. You're just going to have to weigh up, make sure you weigh everything up. And
a good estate agent will guide you through that as well.
Yeah, they will recommend which bank moves your money quicker, which one they deal with. Yeah. The likes of Los Cris Properties, they're selling all kinds.
They've been going for years.
1982, so a long time. And
I'm yet to hear a bad story about them.
No. And Lisa there, she knows everything, absolutely everything.
Now moving on. My turn. Community fees. Lots of questions about community fees, because I think I harped on about it's great to split the cost of pools and everything else between all the owners of a community. It may not be everyone's cup of tea. They want to be up in the hillside, in their own home and whatever. I just think community fees work great in a community. People were asking, what happens when owners don't pay their community fees? So you go to a complex and you're thinking, how many debts have they got here? How do they keep on top of everything?
Out of 250 apartments, what if 50 of them aren't paying the community fees?
Exactly.
Am I going to have to pay more to cover their debts? Or?
Well, the good news is that you don't have to pay more. The community will chase them for what they owe. Ultimately, if push comes to pull, the property will be sold by the non-payer. That might take some time in Spain. And out of the proceeds, the first call on the money is the community.
Yeah. So basically the debt will stay with the property.
Stay with the property, and when the property moves, the community will pick up the debt. However, it's not healthy for a community to have lots of bad debts.
No.
And we found out at Royal Palm on Monday night, we are owed €1,500 in bad debts.
Yeah.
That's it. Now, you don't go to court for less than 2,000.
No. So pretty good. Check it again. Try and pop into the community
office. They'll tell you, you know.
I think they have to provide that information.
Yeah. You're entitled to know if you're going to be buying into a residential or a touristic complex. You'd like to know are there lots of people on here who just don't pay, and that's why the gardens may not look nice.
But don't think you can buy an apartment, 150 grand, not pay community fees for 10 years, sell it for 150 grand, and off you go, because that 10 years of community fees will be sitting in the tax office waiting for you.
The notary is waiting.
Yeah, and they will just hold your money as well.
Thanks very much. You know, the days where
they will embargo your account.
Absolutely. Years and years ago in the 80s, none of this, I have to tell you, applied to when I was buying the properties off plan. No. Spain was so lackadaisical over people buying and selling and whatever, and it was so easy. Now they've realised that there's such easy tax money to be had from foreigners buying, selling, and everything that goes with it. Renting,
all of that. Someone did say in the comments there, and you do get tax to breathe over here.
It's true. The lawyer that took me this morning, he said it's literally this government they have in Spain, it really is extremely left-wing. He called it communist even. They absolutely tax everything. Nothing is left unturned over to get a bit of money out of you.
No.
Absolutely. So
if you don't like that, be careful.
Be careful. And they're very unlikely to be voted out, because every time there's an election, they give a big giveaway again, don't they?
Well, yeah, the unelected PM has just given everyone I think it was an 8% pay rise in Spain just before the elections coming up.
As in our country, the public sector were all kicking off. We haven't got enough money, cost of living crisis, blah, blah, blah. Lo and behold, the Prime Minister went, here you go, guys. Bump.
But we're going to move on to our next topic now. What is next? So we always got a whole file of papers here. Right, here we go. Here's our next one. These are all from your comments.
This is questions. Everything we're talking about has come from our first vlog about doing all this. So we're now going to talk about the math. People asked me, and it was a very good question, about the yield. If I invested in a property, what would it be like getting your interest in the bank, the yield? So I'll go through it fairly.
What would be your income, your profits?
What you're walking away with in the bank.
Yeah, money.
Because at the end of the day, it would be nice too, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. So, let's assume a property in Cristianos, round about €225,000, will buy you possibly a one-bedder.
It's about the going average for a one-bed at the moment.
Give or take, okay? Remember on the 225 to allow the 20% and all the taxes and everything that goes with it. The 225 is not...
Yeah, it was 10% on top and fees and things.
Yeah, exactly.
225 is the list price.
I've asked around, and basically you could expect to rent conservatively, and you may do better than this, but I think you can assume around about 32 weeks of the year.
Okay.
If you do better than that, it's a bonus. Border on the conservative, 32 weeks. Management agent in this complex in particular, that would give me €310 net per week of 32 weeks.
So that's with all your cleaning fees, the taxes taken off, because obviously you've got to pay his tax.
No, we haven't got that yet.
Oh, okay. All right, so
310 comes in. That's 9,920 a year. Call it 10,000. Now you might do better, 11, 12, 13, but I'm saying 10 should be your minimum.
Okay.
From the rental. Now you've got to pay out. Okay, so the first port of call is our lovely taxman. This never used to be the case, and yes, he's going to take you 24% non-resident tax. Ouch. Ouch. So that is a net now of €7,600. €7,600. Out of that, I have then got to pay community fees. Royal Palm one bedder is about €1,700. Electric, we think round about 600 a year. Water, 300-400 a year. And insurance, must have some insurance. So again, I'm bordering on the excessive here to be careful. 3,000 of your 7,600 is going to go in outgoings.
Yeah, that's providing you don't have any leaks, any repair bills,
No,
any TVs, beds, you name it.
Someone hasn't trashed your place,
Right.
replaced it. You're walking away with a
£3,000.
Well, you're walking away with 4,600.
Okay.
Oh, that's lovely,
4,600.
isn't it? Now, the good news is you only pay that 24% tax, by the way, in Spain. No one's going to tax you on the 4,600 in UK. You can only pay tax in one country, so that's a bit of good news. The other bit of good news is, out of all those weeks, 32 you rent, that leaves you with 20, maybe less, for your own use.
Okay.
So you're going to have some free holidays, not for flights, but free accommodation in your own place. That is a lovely thing to do. So, and you might well not want to rent more than so many weeks a year.
Yeah. You might only just rent the months that you're not here and it's a bonus. And
Absolutely. And the other bonus that you hope for is that your property will rise from 225 that you paid. Next year it's worth 250, the following year 270, and so on. Then you're making some capital gain as well.
Historically, Tenerife and Canary Islands very good for that. Historically,
Exactly.
Spain very up and down, but Canary Islands very, very steady, even through COVID
Absolutely.
and the pandemic. Very, very steady.
So we come down to this returning yield now of 4,600, which assume no issues, no problems, haven't got to replace the kettle, anything else, is a measly, on an investment of 225, 2%. Now, if you get more income in and you maybe try to squeeze your outgoings, your 2% might rise to 3 or 4%.
Yeah.
If we had the pandemic, and that ever happens again, heaven forbid, you're going to have no yield whatsoever. In fact, you're going to be out of pocket because the overheads don't go away.
Yeah.
So he's right, we didn't factor in repairs, renewals and depreciation.
Yeah.
And furthermore, I worked out that say you loan 80% of the value, so you have a mortgage of about 160,000 euros, because you haven't got 225 to invest. Yeah. Well, that is going to work out at 750 euros a month in interest, which is going to take away your 4,600.
So I think overall from that, on a conservative basis, in terms of investing to make a fortune and be a bit of a property tycoon, ain't really. You're not going to get massive returns. You're not going to be.
It's just not. It's hard work.
You might get a nice return, but it's not going to be. Oh, well, hey, I'm in the money. I rent out my apartment in Spain or whatever. You'd actually probably get a better percentage yield putting it on a long let.
Now, that's a point. Andrew did a little bit of research on long let. So you talk about, say, 100,000 in a long let.
No, there's a one bedroom on this complex that rents for it's €1,000 a month.
Right.
So that would be €12,000 a year, as opposed to
my 10,000. Yeah. With 32 weeks, I got to 10,000 income. So you've got to 12,000.
12,000 guaranteed. Guaranteed, no questions asked. The only downside is you're not going to be able to stay in your accommodation for free, are you?
No. And if you've got a good tenant with less wear and tear who's going to look after the place, then your yield there is going to be more like 3, 4, 5%.
Yeah.
But it's your property, but you're not going to be able to use it.
So you're going to make a bit more money. So whether that bit more money is good for you and you'll use that to go and stay in a fancy hotel in Las Americas when you come over or wherever you're going, or whether you really want that apartment to stay in and then you rent it out as a bonus. Conservative figures, I know people who get €1,200 a month on it.
Yeah. I've always enjoyed the fact that you get an income from the weeks you're on here, 30 to 40 weeks a year, and the other weeks you use for maybe some really good family and friends that you don't even want to charge to come, or they just pay the overheads. By the way, you might, through your property manager, remember in Tenerife you're a sole property manager, you may generate your own bookings at home.
Yeah, you're welcome to put it on a website and advertise it. The only thing is, those reservations then have to be sent on to the property manager, and they have to process it and calculate your tax and things like that. But you are welcome to put it on Facebook, things like that, or even advertise it and just direct them all through the property manager.
And then you'll make more than your 310 a week.
Yeah.
because you've generated the booking. He will then just charge you cleaning, bed linen, and so on. So there is a bit of flexibility there.
Yeah.
But I've gone negative. I think it's wise to go negative.
Well, yeah, I think a few people will get 40 weeks a year, and some one beds will only get 20 weeks a year because it's a bit older, it's not in a good a position, there's no sun.
So we have to be conservative, otherwise you'd all be running away thinking, oh my, what a great investment. 2% is not great. And that's 2%, that's if you've put all the money up front.
Yeah.
You're not servicing a mortgage.
Yeah.
You know?
So, yeah, it's not
it's hard
huge
work.
income like sometimes the TV shows make out. You'll be able to earn a potential income of this a month.
Absolutely, that is the one thing, apart from swimming pools and aircon, the big thing that really drives a nail into me. This generates an income of this a month. They absolutely.
That's income, but that's not.
And they may just quickly say, oh, and the community fees are this.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a very brief. It's just they just tell them exactly what they're getting into here, so they absolutely know. Owning a home in the sun is fantastic. It's hard work, but it's not quite the panacea you think it is. It takes a lot of research. Don't part with your money till you've done your research.
Yeah, and I wouldn't just. I know a few people who potentially already have bought a property in Spain without even seeing it or without even being here.
Yeah.
They've given the go ahead or sent some of the money.
Mental.
Take the flight, fly over, check everything you're doing, check it's got no debts is a massive one. And also, if you are leaving your property, whether you rent it out, don't rent it, whatever you're doing, if you're leaving it behind, make sure you lock it up properly, especially if you're leaving it and you're not renting it out and it's going to stay empty for a few months. Secure that property properly, because squatters over here in Spain have massive rights. You can't just
surprise.
So secure it. There's a rule as well, if you haven't got a home security system, so if you don't have an alarm or cameras and you can't prove that someone has broken and entered, then the police won't kick them out. So this property here, you lock it up, great. Squatters come in, change the locks, they've got a set of keys. Police knock and go, oh no, here's my rental agreement that they've typed up on Word. I've rented this, I paid some money online. They get all the rights then. They'll just claim they've been scammed. Whereas if they broke in, you can go, look here, my alarm went off, there he is, breaking and entering. Then they'll kick them out because they've broken and entered. But if you can't prove they've broken and entered, you can end up with them in your apartment for months and months.
Yeah.
Racking up the bills, trashing the place. So I would recommend big security if you're going to leave your property unmanned.
This mainly applies to residential people, because if you're touristic.
Well, we've had squatters on here as well. I know plenty of tourist accommodation in Los Cris that's had squatters.
That's true. And then if that happens, heaven forbid, all your guests that are booked in.
They can't get in. It's do be very careful with that, and I would recommend Security Director, the biggest one over here for alarms, security systems. It costs you about 40 to 50 euros a month, I believe, and that's a linked in system. So if someone breaks in, alarm goes off, that's all linked into a centre, which obviously alerts the owner, alerts the police, something's going on. But yeah, do be very careful with that. That's one thing to bear in mind. We don't get it very often, but we have had one or two.
These things don't happen. I don't want you to run away. What is it? What they used to say on Crime Watch? Don't have nightmares.
No, but it's something you've got to consider. People wouldn't even think, squatters, the rights they've got in Spain are far more than in the UK.
Absolutely incredible. You know, you've
got to bear in mind all the laws in Spain very different to the UK.
Absolutely. To put it in perspective, in all the years I've owned here, and that's 40.
We've known it twice.
I've known it twice. So it's happened a couple of times. It's gone a little bit higher lately. It hasn't happened to me, and thankfully on Royal Palm, very, very rare.
Very rare, gated community. Yeah. But it's just something to bear in mind. All it is prevention. I prefer to be upfront so you can prevent it ever happening. If it's a 1% chance, you take that 1% chance away by making the security proper, on your door locks, no snappable locks and everything, or putting the alarm system in. Put the alarm system in, the risk is gone. Because if they get in, please kick them out. So the very small chance there is, take that small chance away if you want to get the alarm system in.
Exactly. Well, we've covered some ground there, haven't we?
Covered it, yeah.
I've decided you're not inheriting anything. Because I know you're going to starve me to death or kill me
Well, I've said.
You nearly have on all the vlogs. I've come this close.
Oh, I can't stop laughing. Oh, my abs are killing me.
And was it safe?
No tea tonight.
I've come this close on a few of them.
No tea tonight. What we'll quickly mention before we round off as well is some of the rough prices going on in here. So, Royal Palm, which is where we are at the moment, Los Cristianos, beautiful furnished and renovated ground floor studio. That's up for 165,000.
That's a studio.
It's got good views though, would rent quite nicely. Victoria Court 1, just down the way, again, their touristic complex. Well-maintained bedroom, one bed, with furniture included. Again, always something to consider, is the furniture included or not, because they'll take pictures with all the furniture in, but in the small print, no furniture included, so make sure you address that before you agree anything. And that is 240 for a one bedroom. Dynastia, 310,000 for a two bed. Port Royal just up the way there. Now that is not a touristic complex, but you can obviously apply for a touristic license to rent it out.
Okay.
And that's 230.
Now, is there anywhere in front of Royal Palm we have El Mirador, which is residential, strictly residential.
Again, they can apply though.
They can apply.
They can apply. El Mirador, 240,000 for a one bedroom. But make sure, obviously, you can't. There's no guarantee either. They could decline your rental license.
Yeah.
So don't think, oh, I'll just buy on a residential and apply, and I'm in. They could decline it. So bear that in mind. And then you've got a nice one here in Palmar, ground floor apartment, very nice, 675,000 euros. Very nice indeed.
I don't think your yield's going to be massive there.
No. But that is it from us. I think we've covered everything. Again, if we haven't, let us know your thoughts down in the comments.
We're happy to come back again, because we threw one out there. You came back to us with all the issues we've addressed today, and I guarantee people out there will go, well, what about this? And
it's hard to think of absolutely everything.
We're trying to. Give us your questions. Maybe as I get the questions, I'll jot them down, go and do my research, give you the proper answer, and we'll sit down and do this again, because most enjoy the sun on your back.
Yes,
I'm getting a bit burnt here.
Very warm.
I've
please do hit the thumbs up. Please do comment below as well. Make sure you check out that first video if you haven't. We talk about other general pros and cons. But yeah, that's it from us. Make sure you do subscribe as well. We'll be back again. And if you're looking to buy over here in the Canaries, you would say yes, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. I've had more pleasure than I've had downside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Big benefit with the Canaries as well, all year round weather.
Sunshine, the sun just shines.
Don't forget, you've got the big opposite seasons in Spain.
Yeah, absolutely. Tenerife is like a paradise on earth. So, but we have pointed out all the pitfalls. Just go in with your eyes open.
Yeah, there you go. I hope we've helped you all out. Thank you very much for watching. And,
goodbye from him.
Stride on.
Bye, everyone.